Hello students, this is Neeta Biju. Welcome back to another class of business studies. In our last class, we studied about the statutory corporation, its features, the merits and limitations. Now we're going to study about the next public sector enterprise, that is the government companies. So the government company introduction we'll study. A government company is established under the Companies Act 2013 and governed by the provisions of the Act. So these are established for business purposes and compete with the private sectors. So a government company is established under the Companies Act of 2013 and it is registered and governed by the provisions of the Act, and these are established purely for actually conducting in true spirit and competing only for business purposes, competing with the private sectors. So this is what is a government company introduction. It is formed by the or established by the Act or that is passed in the year 2013. We'll study the meaning of government company here. So according to the section 245 of the Companies Act of 2013, a government company means a company in which not less than 51% of the paid up capital is held by the central government or by the state government, or partly by the central government or partly by one or more state governments, and includes a company which is subsidiary of a government company. So a government company meaning is, according to this section 245 of the Companies Act 2013, a government company means a company in which there is not less than 51% of paid up capital, means more than 50% of paid up capital should be held by the government, and this can be either the central government or it can be by the state government, or it can be wholly or partly by the central government or wholly or partly by the state government. So here it includes even a subsidiary of the government company under the Companies Act 2013. So there is no change in the definition of the companies so far. So all the provisions of the Act are applicable to the government companies unless and otherwise it is specified in the Act. So the government company may be formed as a private limited company or a public limited company. So this is what is government company all about. So there are certain provisions which are applicable to the appointment and retirement of directors and other managerial personnel. So this, it's very clear here. Government company exercises full control over the company because it has the total paid up share capital. It is more than 50%, that is 51 and more. So the rest of 49 is by again private company. So this is what is a government company, where the major shareholding is by the government company. It can be government securities, it can be by the state government or it can be by the central government wholly or partially. So the shares of the company are purchased in the name of the President of India. Keep that point in mind, dear students. The shares of the company are purchased in the name of the President of India. So since the government company is will be the major shareholders and they exercise total control and management of these companies, they are called as government companies. So we'll study the features of a government company here. There are certain very important features of a government company. What are those? We'll study one by one. First one, it is created under the Companies Act 2013 or under the previous Companies Act, that is 1956. So the first important feature, characteristic or nature of government company, it is an organization that is created under the Companies Act 2013 or any other, you can say, company law which was passed earlier. That is what is how it is formed and how it is created or established. The second feature is a company can be sued and can also file a suit in the court of law against any third party. So this is again a very important characteristic or feature of government company. The government company can file a complaint in the court of law against any third party. Even third party can file a complaint against the government. The third feature is a government company can enter into any contracts and can own any property in its own name. So the third feature is the government company can enter into any contract and can acquire or purchase assets and properties in its own name. It has a separate legal entity recognized in the eyes of law. That is why. Then the fourth feature of government company is the management of the company is regulated by the provisions of the Companies Act. Yes, so the management and control is totally under the provision that is specified in the Companies Act of 2013, like any other public company has any laws or regulations. In the same way, a government company is regulated by the Companies Act 2013. Whatever the Companies Act has enlisted, it has to follow strictly. So the management of the company is by the regulations that is formed by the Companies Act 2013. The next feature is the employees of the company are appointed according to their own rules and regulations. Yes, the fifth one, the employees of the company are appointed according to their own rules and regulations, and which is actually contained in the very important documents of the company, that is the memorandum of articles and memorandum of articles of association and memorandum of association. So here these are the very important documents of a company. So we'll study that later in the formation of the company chapter. So the memorandum of and articles of association are the very important documents of the company. It contains all the rules and regulation. It contains the objectives of the company. It contains all the details of the company. So the employees of the company are purely according to their own rules and regulations, which is specified in these two important documents, and those documents are memorandum of association and articles of association. The next feature, the sixth feature, is these companies are exempted from the accounting and audit rules, regulations or procedures. So these companies are actually excused or exempted. They are kept away from accounting and audit rules or procedures or formalities, because an auditor is appointed by the government themselves, and the annual report is to be presented in the parliament or the state legislature. So the government itself will appoint an auditor and will get the accounts checked, and the report is presented in the parliament. So these companies are actually exempted. Exempted means kept away from the accounting and audit rules and formalities. Next feature is the government company can raise funds from the capital market as well as the government and private shareholders. So how it can raise funds is actually from different sources. The government companies will acquire or raise funds or obtain their funds or finance from government shareholdings, or it can be from the private shareholders. It can also raise from the capital market, that is stock exchange. So this is how a government company raises the funds and finances itself in with the help of financial resources from different sources, and those sources can be the government shareholdings or securities, it can be the private securities or shareholders, or it can be from the capital market, that is stock market. So this is all for today's class, test students. I hope you have understood. In our next class, we'll study the merits and limitations of a government company. Thank you.